Hello, I'm Calvin Farr, the General Manager and CEO of Prince William Water. Today I'm here with Shailaja Polaru, our Director of People and Talent, to talk about leadership here at Prince William Water and my leadership philosophy. Whether you are a new Prince William Water employee, have worked here for many years, or even considering us as a future employer, I think it's important to share my leadership philosophy and how each employee plays a role in living that philosophy every day. Hello, Shailaja.
Hello, Calvin. I'm very interested in learning about your leadership philosophy. This will help us build a common understanding throughout the organization.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I appreciate being here with you. First and foremost, the philosophy that I say about leadership really starts with me as a general manager, CEO. I have to practice what I preach, right? Also, when I work with you and the rest of the leadership team, it's very important that they also practice this leadership philosophy as we move through this organization and to the future. So during our conversation, I'm going to talk about the philosophy and my thoughts about how our leadership managers fit into this, but also our employees, because we want to continue to be successful in a high-performing organization.
I have a couple of questions lined up for you on this topic. And first of all, can you describe your leadership philosophy for me, Calvin?
Yeah, so to me, it's pretty easy. This is my thought when I lead. First and foremost is our people. So I'm big on how our people arrive to work and how they can be productive. I want to foster a workplace of choice. So people is the first pillar of it. All three of them are really integrated, but the second part is how they go about their business, the journey they go on. Every project they work on, or even going to the neighborhoods to do work and maintenance, it's a journey, right? I'm more focused on the journey and how we work together as a team. We provide feedback to each other, we communicate to each other, and we support each other. That's really important to me on that journey part, the second part. Now, the third part is going about our business with our shared values. So I want us to always practice our shared values as we go on this journey. So it really is all integrated in all three aspects. And that's really the gist of my philosophy.
How did this come about, Calvin? What were your thoughts when you were framing this philosophy?
So when I first started in 2021, I always noticed that Prince William Water, when I walked in the door, was a high-performing organization. And I wanted to maintain that high performance. But I knew that the world is changing outside these walls. Our core mission is protection of public health and the environment. That's not going to change. That's going to stay the same. But the world around us changes, so we have to be able to adapt to the change. We have to have strong leadership to do that, to manage change, foster the change mentality and continuous improvement and things of that nature. I mean, things are changing with our regulations. Things are changing in regards to the workplace we work in, workplace of choice. We have to recruit, as you know, we have to recruit differently, retain employees differently. So we always have to adapt. That's why it's important to always have a strong leadership philosophy in place.
Calvin, would you mind telling me about a time or a person that has influenced you into evolving your philosophy the way it stands today?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for this question. So regarding experience, I learned a lot from my dad. He was a colonel in the Army, and I didn't know that was leadership that he was teaching me about, principles and being a good person, treating people right, and things of that nature. So years later, I realized it was leadership that he was teaching me. But also when I was in grad school, we had to look at a leader, we had to pick a leader, and kind of understand that leader and the philosophy. So at that point, I wanted to explore military leadership to see what that was. And I picked General Colin Powell. Surprisingly, his leadership philosophy, it was different than I thought it was going to be. I thought military leadership was more rigid and things of that nature. But after reading up about him, he was more about collaboration, getting feedback from his soldiers. He had open door policy. I think his quote, paraphrasing, if the soldiers don't come into my office to ask me questions or talk, I've lost leadership. I've lost them. So he was welcome to getting that feedback and things of that nature. It really resonated with me because when I was an employee, I always wanted to be able to have the opportunity to talk to the higher ups and give my opinion and be a part of the decision process. So to this day, I just kind of remember some of the quotes that Colin Powell has in his books, and kind of really leads. That's kind of tailored my leadership style a little bit after that. And then there's others that in my career that I've always thought were good leaders, and I've chosen some of their leadership abilities and some of their traits.
Can you help me understand what it means to be a leader here at Prince William Water? Maybe this will help some of our senior staff members, what it is that they need to do on a day-to-day basis as they are interacting with their employees.
So absolutely. So, any manager, it can really be something followed by employees that don't actually manage people. But you say frontline employees or frontline managers, same thing is, again, people first. Listen to your people, ask for feedback. You have to coach them through challenges. Then that journey part is, working things out, listening to them, negotiating solutions, healthy discussions about how to do things better. That's the process and the journey. And then again, always our shared values. If you think about our managers over in C&D, one shared value of note is safety always. That's going to be stressed. I'd rather our folks be safe as opposed to trying to exceed expectations the wrong way, right? So again, it applies to our frontline managers. It also, applies to our employees. We have employees that don't necessarily have manager in their title, but they can actually lead. There may be times that they're leading a project team. Again, people first, working together, respecting each other's opinion, also working through that journey on whatever that project is, and again, going about it the right way with our shared values.
I appreciate you sharing your vision for what the senior leadership behaviors should be like. What can the employees expect when they are at the receiving end of this leadership philosophy?
So the thing about it, my three aspects, is always about the employees, always about the staff, always about the people. Because I want our people to know that they are valued, right? I don't want it to be just a job for them. I want it to be a career for them. I want them to be encouraged to grow with the organization. I want them to be encouraged to provide their voice, their feedback. The leadership, you foster that, you open it up to open communication. And then also we're grooming future leaders, quite honestly. So I think the employees get a lot out of this. They see culture is everything. I haven't talked about culture much in this interview, but to lead that culture transformation and being the best culture is leadership. So I want our employees to know that they're always valued. Their opinion does matter. I'm sure there's some employees here that can tell you that I've actually listened to some of their ideas, and we've actually implemented some of those ideas.
Thank you, Calvin. I think hearing from you firsthand will greatly help, whether it's our current employees or prospective employees, to understand your philosophy and know where we are in our journey at Prince William Water. Thank you so much.
While we remain committed to serving the community and set ourselves a very high bar on the standards of service, it's equally important to take care of the team that makes this happen. Our employees are the key to our success and long-term growth. This can be accomplished by embracing the best-in-class leadership practices.